We are Rogue Media Sports.
Show, Rogue Media Sports Network. It's Friday. Thank God, man. Am I right? Friday, more like it. Thank God it's Friday. Does TGI Friday still exist? They're still around?
Didn't they just go bankrupt again like last week?
Sounds right.
I think this happened like last week. They announced they were closing more stores.
I'm not like a huge TGI Fridays fan, but I'm here for the institution of it, for the principle of it. I think those kinds of institutions need to survive. You know, I'm a huge Chili's fan, and I need that, like, I guess, mega sit-down restaurant chain to live on. As someone who went to public school, I need that to live on. Do we have an update on TGI?
Yeah, so they did announce a ton of closures last week.
Bummer, man.
There is speculation they are going towards bankruptcy. And 6 hours ago, Fox Business published a headline that says, America's casual dining heydays are over.
Yeah, see, that's the problem, man. I need Chili's, I need Applebee's, I need TGI Fridays, Ruby Tuesday, Olive Garden, Red Lobster. I don't even go to, but I need that.
How do you rank the casual dining big chains?
Chili's number one. Chili's is number one.
I ride for Chili's a little bit too, but my question would be: does Texas Roadhouse count in the same?
Yeah.
Because if it counts, to me, it's number one, and it's also, I know it's the only one that has grown significantly in the last 10 years.
I didn't have it a lot growing up, but I would put it up pretty high. I like Texas Roadhouse. Outback needs to survive.
Yeah.
I'm like an fan of it. Olive Garden, fan. Big fan.
You go to Olive Garden at lunch and get the unlimited soup and salad and breadsticks.
Oh,
it's a win.
Oh, man. I could eat Olive Garden until I get a heart attack in the booth, man. I don't give a shit.
And I'll tell you,
I would just
Applebee's
clog those arteries right up. Don't care.
Applebee's wasn't very high on my list until I was working in the restaurant industry,
Mm-hmm.
and we'd get done working.
You saw the standard of excellence at Applebee's.
Well, no, I was not working at Applebee's, but we would get done working at 11 midnight,
Mhm.
and Applebee's being open till 2 a.m. was clutch. And at the time, they were serving half price apps after midnight. So we'd all go to Applebee's, half price apps, couple beers.
Those poor people that were working there were like, these other chain restaurant workers are already out, and I'm here for 2 more hours.
Yeah. There's no
Maybe
way.
that's why they did it.
Well, I was
maybe-
going to say there's no way we were the only ones who did that.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. And then there's like the local. I don't know how many here in Texas, but like growing up, there was a bunch of like local mini chains that were sit down. Like one of my favorites from back home, the 99 is not doing too hot. Friendlies is really not doing hot. There's like a handful just left that was like good run of the mill food with awesome ice cream. And there's not many of those anymore. It's too bad. It's too bad, man. I need my good like steady Eddie sit down. I go there and I know what I'm going to get. Quality and exactly what I'm going to order.
You know that.
I haven't looked at a menu in Chili's in 15 years.
Yeah, you know what it is.
Yeah. Yeah, I do. Yeah.
The Texas fast casual chain that is succeeding, I believe, still is Chuy's, the Tex-Mex place.
That's fair. What would some of the other ones be? Like Cheddar's, BJ's?
Are those Texas
Cheddar's
places or are those?
Well, they're not northern places, I'll tell you that much.
Okay. The one that's dying, similar to TGI Fridays, is Cotton Patch. You ever been to a Cotton Patch restaurant? There's one here
Never.
in Waco, but we drove by it the other day, and my wife literally said, "I can't believe that place is still there." Like, anyway,
Save the Chili's at all costs. I think Chili's is fine. I think they're doing okay, but save the chain sit downs. I'm keeping Chili's in business like once or twice a week on DoorDash. I'll tell you that much. All right, let's just get to it. I went to the Bruins game last night. Bruins game in Dallas. It's a fucking nightmare. Absolute disaster. Had great seats. Right by the visitors tunnel. So I did my videos when they were coming out on the ice. I was there to show them my support. And this is going to sound stupid and cheesy, but whatever. I don't get this feeling with the other teams in Boston because I'm an adult now. Okay. I've seen it for what it is. These are normal people who'd have an unbelievable God-given talent and unbelievable work ethic to get where they are. Basically, I don't see them as like superheroes anymore. And I'm not saying I don't see the Bruins like that, but there was something where I'm like, these are my guys. They're wearing the spoked B. Okay. These are the Boston Bruins. That means something. And it flowed through me last night as I watched them go out of the tunnel right in front of me. And then they had to play the game. And I definitely realized they're not superheroes. Holy mother. That was bad. 7-2. It's the second straight game the Stars have put up a touchdown and an extra point. 14 goals in 2 games. And it's indicative of the way this league is heading because the teams they beat are 2 teams that were once proud franchises in strong northeastern hockey towns or, good hockey fan bases, I would say. Both wear black and gold, and both are hanging on too long for the fleeting hope that they might actually be contenders. And both have been proven wrong in that fact by the Stars the last 2 games. That would be the Pittsburgh Penguins and the Boston Bruins that are just clinging to whatever this is and spending up to the cap for what? For this dog shit team that I watched go out play and play against Dallas last night. Good golly, Miss Molly. There is no one on this team that has clean hands. No one on this roster, on this coaching staff, in this front office. It is all a mess. All a mess. And they just got their brains kicked in last night. They actually were out shooting the Stars after the end of the first period. It was 11-10 in shots. After that, the Stars doubled them up. It finished 38-25 in shots. Quick math there. That's 28-14 in shots the next two periods. And you could make an argument that the Bruins were kind of in this thing after the first period. They were down 2-1. They had given up a goal and a penalty shot that should have never been a penalty shot, and they were out shooting the Stars. And the Stars were shooting at me that first period. So I got to see a lot of great action. I saw the penalty shot. I saw a penalty that should have been a 5-minute major. I saw a fight. It was awesome for action on my end. But because the action was coming in my end, I was able to tell right away. And about 6.5 minutes into the game, I am losing my mind in the fifth row because of this penalty shot that was called on Mason Lohrei. Let's take a look at the tape at how awful this call was.
Trying to spring Dadonov into the slot. Oh, they're going to call Mason Lohrei for that he was in alone. Dadonov was in alone, according to the official. Fouled from.
For those of you who are new to hockey, and that might be a lot in the Dallas area, you got a good team again. It might also include the referees that were officiating this game. That is called a stick lift. That is not a penalty. He doesn't use the free arm on him. He lifts up his stick. Dadonov is losing his balance as he's riding into Lohrei. Lohrei lifts up his stick, gets the puck out. That is not a penalty, and it is sure as hell not a penalty shot. That was horrid, a horrid call. Is it going to stop the Bruins from getting their ass kicked in this game? I don't know. Probably not, right? But at that point, it changes the game a lot. Then Coyle scores, at the end of the first period, it's 1-1 going into the room. You might feel a lot better about yourself. That is not a penalty. And not only do they get him on a penalty, they give him a penalty shot. That is a disgrace from the NHL, which the officiating this year in the league-wide, not just the Bruins, league-wide, has been awful. Awful. No one knows what a goaltender interference is. We're getting plays like this where they're getting nickel and dimed and given a penalty shot, and no one knows what the hit from behind rules are anymore because that reared its ugly head in the first period too, before Nikita Zadorov finally did something positive for this team and won a fight against Jamie Benn. It comes on this hit on Brandon Carlo. That was initially called a 5-minute major. And then they went to review and called it a minor boarding penalty. And again, fifth row, Cam Stewart, losing his fucking mind. What are we talking about? Again, a huge play that, does it change the outcome? I don't know, but it certainly changes the way you're looking at the game going into the room at the end of the first period. Because let's look at Rule 43, checking from behind. A check from behind is a check delivered on a player who is not aware of the impending hit, therefore unable to protect or defend himself. And contact is made on the back part of the body, the numbers. When a player intentionally turns his body to create contact with his back, no penalty shall be assessed. We see that sometimes. Players know they're going to get hit, so they turn it around, and that's not a penalty. And for a minor penalty, no provision for a minor penalty from checking from behind, so we don't need that. That can be a minor penalty. A major penalty, any player who cross-checks, pushes, or charges an opponent from behind who is unable to protect or defend himself shall be assessed a major penalty. This penalty applies anywhere on the playing surface. Scotty, can we see the hit again here? And let's open this up. This is not angling his body. That hit is from behind. It's in a dangerous area with his distance from the boards. That is a major freaking penalty every time. Every time. And if you want to say it's BS because if he's 2 feet closer, it's only a minor penalty, you can say that. But that is the rule. He sees the numbers the whole time and then hits him in the numbers in a dangerous spot in front of the boards. That is a major penalty, game misconduct, which they called and then reversed after seeing that. What is this league? What is a boarding call? What is a major penalty? That is a no doubt 5-minute major dunzo. And instead, what happens is Carlo's out for the rest of the period. I'm stunned he came back in this game. And Nikita Zadorov doing what he's supposed to do, which he hasn't done much of this year, what he's supposed to do. But this is what he's supposed to do. And he chucks knucks with Jamie Benn, and he wins the fight, gets the takedown. But in the last 2 games, you lost Hampus Lindholm maybe for the season. You lose Brandon Carlo on that hit for the rest of the period. Then you lose Nikita Zadorov for 5 minutes. And so you've lost 3 guys, essentially, and the Stars have lost 1 for 5 minutes. That's it. It's a shit situation right now, and that was the perfect microcosm of it. And somehow through that bullshit penalty shot call and that bullshit reversal of a major penalty, Jim Montgomery is just standing there with his hands in his pockets. Not a care in the world. Hands in his pockets, thumb presumably right up his ass, doing nothing. I'm sorry. You've got to get thrown out of that game at that point if that's what it takes. He didn't even get an explanation from the refs. I'm throwing sticks. I'm throwing pucks. I'm throwing some of my healthy scratches out there onto the ice surface. Can I get an explanation for that? No. I'm just going to sit there with my hands in my pockets, knowing full well I'll have a nice family Thanksgiving because my ass is going to get fired. And I'm stunned it hasn't happened already. But we know the Bruins, they're waiting till 5:30 Eastern time on a Friday night to can his ass. And a quick Friday evening news dump, promote the assistant, and we'll all go on our merry way like nothing is wrong. Let's just fire coach number 3 in this regime and keep everyone in the front office. It is embarrassing. It is so embarrassing. And there are people out there who say, why would you fire Jim Montgomery? What's he supposed to do with this talent? I don't know, make adjustments? Because they do the same stupid shit every game? They still can't complete a pass? I don't know, maybe that. Because if that's the game we're going to play, then should we even have a coach? Because I agree. We need a shakeup in the front office. We need Sweeney out of there. This has not worked. And I wasn't that huge a fan of Sweeney even going into the summer. But I remember saying on this show, there's one summer that Don Sweeney has had money to spend, and it got you Matt Bolesky, David Backes, and a trade for Riley Smith, who made the All-Star team 2 years ago, 6 years after the trade, for Jimmy Hayes, who scored 2 goals for you. That was Don Sweeney's big money summer. And this summer, the second time he had it, abject failure right now. Elias Lindholm, center number 1. Nikita Zadorov, wet fart, just out there doing nothing. And Jeremy Swayman, who is also stunk this season. By the way, I used the wet fart from Matt Barry as a tribute to Matt Barry not being here yesterday. So that is a Matt Barry original. But Swayman was 8.25 a year. That first goal on Duchesne, what are we doing, bud? 69 seconds into the game, and he's given up one short side from the faceoff dot. Are you kidding? Are you kidding me? A one-handed goal. Another one that's just pushed through the bottom of his pads. Swayman stunk last night. I know it's not all his fault this year, but he stunk last night. And he's actually been pretty good 5-on-5 on special teams. He's been ass. And so everyone will make excuses. Oh, well, it's, we're shorthanded. What do you expect? Well, when you're supposed to be a good penalty killing team, your best penalty killer is your goalie. And he's killing you on the penalty kill. He was not sharp at all last night, and there's been a couple times this season he hasn't been sharp. And it reminds me of that scene in Miracle where Jim Craig is going up to Herb Brooks after that exhibition at Madison Square Garden right before the Olympics, and the Soviets beat him 10-3. And Herb Brooks says, "Yeah, I'm thinking of giving Janney a shot." Steve Janicek, the backup. And Jim Craig, "What? That's my net." He goes, "Jimmy, they scored 10 goals. It's everybody's net." That's what it feels like with Swayman right now. I'm going to give Corpy a couple of games. Deal with it. And just, I don't know, get your head right or something, because you haven't been right either. You didn't have a preseason either. None of these guys have a preseason, and we wonder why a month into the season they suck. I don't know, maybe take it seriously. And I look at the difference between the Stars and the Bruins, because the Stars are a team that has a very legitimate shot at winning the Stanley Cup this year. After they knocked out Vegas last year, I thought they were going to win the Cup before losing in the conference finals. But I think that's a team that is primed to win the Stanley Cup. And when I look at these two teams and their rosters, I look at what the Bruins have had to sacrifice for some of these midseason deals that in the end did not work out because it didn't get them to the Stanley Cup final, other than 2019. But the years after that, where they kept doing these trade deadline deals, did not get them there. So I look at the players 25 or younger on these rosters, okay, that are actually in the lineup every day. For the Bruins, it's Jeremy Swayman, okay, Mason Lohrei, all right, and Mark Kastelik, Johnny Beecher, and that is it. That is it. For the Stars, on the other hand, their guys 25 or younger, Jake Ottinger, Thomas Harley, Miro Heiskanen, like, it's Wyatt Johnston, Logan Stankoven. You've heard of these guys. These are real legit contributors to a team that can win the Stanley Cup. These are real players. Would you rather have Stankoven or Johnny Beecher? That's an easy one for me. I mean, even the goalie position, which is where the Bruins are supposed to be good at. Would you rather have 25-year-old Jeremy Swayman or 25-year-old Jake Ottinger? Easy. Miro Heiskanen or Mark Kastelik? I don't know. The choice is yours. Oh, but don't worry. Morgan Geekie's 26. If we're going to extend that number, how about Trent Frederick at 26 too? Fucking joke. Absolute joke of a team right now. Joke of an effort last night. And I mean, the defenseman, the only defenseman who I thought could move the puck was Lohrei, and he's a -3. He and Carlo are the two -3s in the game. It's just this team has no direction. And I've said that before, but this is what I mean by no one's hands are clean. They have a coach who wants to play one way. They have a GM who wants to play another way. And the GM is the one who decides who gets called up or sent down, and not the coach. And it's the GM who's spending money on these guys who don't play the way the coach wants them to play. So nobody wins. Nobody wins. And as bad as the Zadorov and Lindholm contracts are going to look, and they look right now, really the problem with Sweeney is letting all of these secondary scorers go and getting nothing to replace them. Not a damn thing. Taylor Hall, Nick Foligno, Jake DeBrusk, Danton Heinen, even guys like James Van Riemsdyk. Let him go and get nothing. Nothing. I had the scary feeling in the offseason, even though I was okay with the signings at the time, I had the scary feeling that they did not get better. They did not get better at all. You've got a GM who wants to make them bigger, and all he did was make them slower. But they out hit Dallas in this game 25-6. Yeah. You really took it to them. You lost by 5 goals. And I got to watch Patrick Brown out there. 34-year-old Patrick Brown. No offense to the guy. He was fine last night. But with this team going absolutely nowhere, you are sending down Matt Poitras and you are playing Patrick Brown. 21-year-old Matt Poitras, 24-year-old Fabian Lysell are just wasting away in Providence. And I've got 34-year-old Patrick Brown up here doing what? Oh, well, we don't like Fabian Lysell's defense. Really? You like any one of these guys' defense? I got news for you. Your defense sucks. You gave up 7 fucking goals, and you don't want to put out Fabian Lysell, the guy who was supposed to be on your second line in preseason. Give me a break. Any of these guys, any of these forwards, you like their defense? Cut the shit, man. How is it going to get worse than it is right now? At least give these guys some ice time. How do you expect Poitras to develop into your future number 1 or 2 center when you keep sending him down? What is he going to learn in Providence right now? The team is not going anywhere in Boston. Have him figure it out in the pros. He was far, far from your worst forward the first couple weeks when you sent them down. And when is that going to end? Whenever Don Sweeney wants, because Don Sweeney is the one who makes the decision on who gets up or goes down. Not the head coach. I'd resign if I was Montgomery. Shit, I'd be dealing. I wouldn't want to deal with this shit anymore. There's no way they have a good relationship because no one's on the same page here with what they want. And how are the players supposed to respond to that? Oh, the message is getting stale to the players. Yeah, it probably is because they don't know what message to listen to. They don't know what team they're supposed to be. And Dallas, I mean, again, Dallas was a much better team to begin with. But my God, they are just so much faster. All 4 lines were beating the brakes off the Bruins in the skating game. This team cannot skate. I was actually really glad they didn't announce they announced, the home team starting lineup and their starting line. I'm glad they didn't do it for the Bruins because that would have been embarrassing. Outside of Pastrnak, the other guys were Geeky and Brazeau. Was that the other one? Just a joke, an absolute joke. And this team's going nowhere, and they're just going to be stuck in neutral because that's what they think they should do. Because maybe by some mistake, someone else in the Atlantic will have a debilitating injury, and the Bruins will sneak into the playoffs. And they're so terrified of not making the playoffs. It's probably the time to not make the playoffs and get a top 10 pick. And then you got plenty of work to do after that. But I'll go back to Matt last week when we had Matt Barry on, and he's talked about this several times. It just makes more and more sense by the day, and it made sense when he first said it in the summer. He was saying the Bruins are so desperate for a center, but there's not a first-line center out there. So why don't you just get someone like Jake Gensel, who can score 40 goals on the wing, 35, 40 goals on the wing. You put him there with Pastrnak and put someone like Poitras in the middle or Zacha in the middle. Because Zacha proved he could be a first-line center when you have 2 scoring wings on the other side. He proved that 2 years ago. It's going to be better than whatever you're going to get out of him with Trent Frederick on one wing and Max Jones on the other, or Charlie Coyle with that line. Like, it's not going to work like that. And instead, they said, nope, we'll just get whoever the best center is on the market, who's at best a second-line center, and who hasn't even proven to be that in Elias Lindholm. Let's give him $8 million a year. Zadorov, this is team number what? Team number 6 or 7 for Zadorov? Yeah, let's give him $6-7 million a year. It's a fucking clown show right now. And they just spend right up to the cap for nothing. For Lindholm, Zadorov, and Swayman and Korpisalo. Congrats. That's what's going to sink you again. Because you had an opportunity to make some, if you knew you weren't going to compete this year, some nice frugal moves in the summer and have even more cap room next year. We have gone way too long on this. I can't do it anymore. We got to talk a little bit of Patriots. That's next on the Cam Show.
Nobody tells our stories better than our clients.
The difference is stark. I was rear-ended at a stop. I thought I was fine, and then once I got home, I realized it's a lot worse than I thought. I ended up having a ruptured disc. You say you're not hurting, and then an hour later, you're saying you're in all this pain. I just felt like most people would think that I was lying. That's when I decided to call Daniel Stark. I owe a lot to Daniel Stark. They really got me what I deserved.
The difference is Stark.
We definitely love our relationship and love Extraco. It's been an amazing experience.
They made the PPP process easier. They were reaching out to me saying, what can I do to help you? That made a huge difference because my stress level, when we shut down, to afterwards was night and day.
Our experience with Extraco has been phenomenal since the very beginning, so we love Extraco.
Welcome to a special edition of the Doomsday Podcast. Look at this. We got one of the great golfers in the world, certainly one of the great pass rushers in NFL history.
But he also had a vision for you. And so it was like you had the best of both worlds, right? You had somebody on you early, and then you had somebody who was maybe more relaxed.
What were a couple of your biggest takeaways? The person you referred to that I spoke with, I've spoken to some personnel people and general managers of the league to get some, independent, objective assessments of the players the Cowboys picked, and we'll go through that. Has the general manager changed at all in the Bradford?
Nope, it's been the same since I was here the last time.
Yeah. Thank God for the Boston Celtics. Thank God they still exist, man. Oof. That was a tough one. That was a tough one in Dallas for me last night, watching the Bees. Weirdly, the thing I could chirp with some of the Stars fans was the Patriots record. It's the same amount of wins as the Cowboys. And that's something to write home about, let me tell you. But all of a sudden, there is some real confidence in this Patriots team for the future. And it's funny that it comes off of this last week where Drake May was fine, but he just looked much better than Caleb Williams. And so everyone's like, yeah, this is our guy. And the defense played well. And you got a Rams team this week that's 500. And I felt really good about that a couple weeks ago before the Tennessee game because I thought the Rams were just going to clean house at the trade deadline, and they really didn't. Cooper Kupp was up for sale, didn't happen. So all those things that I was like, oh, maybe, but I don't know. I mean, again, the Rams are not a gauntlet, but I don't see this defense putting out a performance anywhere near what they did on last Sunday against a guy like Matt Stafford. Even at his age, I don't buy it. But the people are on the Drake May train hard, really on the Drake May train. I've been on it. Most of the Patriots fan base is on it now. And one person who is on it as well is the newest Barstool Sports employee, John Chucky Gruden.
We should put in Tyson Bagent.
Who do you like more, Drake
Dave's
May or
a troll.
Caleb Williams?
Drake May. Dave's the one who said we should put in Tyson Bagent. I said he doesn't have arm strength.
That's not me. That's him.
Is that pre-draft or
Drake May is going to be a superstar. Drake May is going to be everything you're looking for. Five-star. Badass. He's a horse, man. Huh?
Is he? You like him over Jaden or not?
I love him.
He's a horse, man. 5-star. Going to be everything you're looking for. God, it feels that way. It feels that way. And I saw someone post the numbers today that Mac Jones had a better QBR in his rookie season than Drake May has right now by 10 or 12 points. And obviously that is worth noting. And we know Mac had a good rookie year. But again, I've been saying this, Drake May can already do stuff that Mac Jones never has been able to do and never will be able to do. And to me, that is something. And it wasn't the 07 Patriots that Mac Jones walked into, but make no mistake, he had better coaching, better weapons, and a better overall team than Drake May has right now. And it's not even close. Mac Jones was with Josh McDaniels and Bill Belichick, and he at least had, a healthy Kendrick Bourne and Jacoby Myers and a younger Hunter Henry. Like, at least he had those guys. Drake May has Gerard Mayo, Alex Van Pelt, and Jalen Poole, KJ Osborne, Austin Hooper. Like, that's what he's got. And no offensive line, which Mac Jones had like a top 5 offensive line that year in 2021. So yeah, things are a little bit different. And I've had to say this a few times too. There are some games that you just can't really look at Drake May's stats as, you can't take him at face value because of that offensive line and because of his receivers. When he has no protection and no one gets open, that leads to different results. But Drake May looks the part. He's got the arm strength, he's got the mobility, and he does take care of the football. I know he had a bad pick last week, and he had a bad one in his first start. That's it, guys. A guy coming out of college as raw as he was and as gunslinger as he was, like, those guys throw a ton of picks. Zach Wilson. Like, that should be the comp right now. Him in his rookie year, Zach Wilson's rookie year, because they were in similar circumstances. Teams with not a ton of direction, not a lot of talent, and guys who came into the draft with big arms and needed a lot of polish. Drake May's looked much better in his rookie year than Zach Wilson did. So the comp is not Mac Jones right now. The comp is Zach Wilson, and he has far surpassed that. And in his second year, let's look at that QBR again, because he will have a better year than Mac Jones. You can almost guarantee that. And it has led to some actual positive, tangible momentum for the Patriots, which I can't believe. I can't believe it. One last note that I want to throw in there, because it's something I'll probably talk about more next week. Juan Soto, impressed by the Red Sox offer. Okay. Juan Soto impressed by the Red Sox, the organization, which no one's been able to say for a couple of years now. And from Rob Bradford in his interview with David Ortiz, you might have heard of him. Ortiz on signing Juan Soto. I'm telling you, we would have Manny and Poppy from the left side. The idea of Soto coupling with current Red Sox third baseman Rafael Devers. If there was one player in baseball who could be the next David Ortiz in Boston, it's Juan Soto. He's that good. Hook, line, and sinker. I'm already there. I am already bought into the Juan Soto sweepstakes. Based on everything the Red Sox have done the last, 6-7 years, there should be nothing for me to believe they're actually going to go out and sign Juan Soto. But I can't help it. I'm in on getting Juan Soto, because I think the Red Sox actually have flexibility to not only get Soto, but add a couple of other pieces as well, whether it be someone like a Teoscar Hernandez in free agency or a trade for a top-end starting pitcher, Crochet, Gilbert, any of these guys. I could see them being able to pull off both. I think they have that much flexibility. So that's what gets me hot and bothered. That's what gets me excited about this Red Sox team. I have never been more excited for an interview on this show than the one I did with my favorite YouTuber, Jay Harang, who does all these reviews on shitty movies, which, as you guys know, is my favorite thing. I watch his videos pretty much every day. And Jay, all the way over in Slough, England, was nice enough to join the Cam Show and break down his process, his favorite movies. We talk a little Britpop, and we get a little banter in there. As we send you out into the weekend, here is my interview with Jay Harang. That's next.
Nobody tells our stories better than our clients.
The difference is stark. I was rear-ended at 70 miles an hour. I was injured, had a concussion. The insurance company, they delayed. They were playing games from the initial conversation. They weren't going to help me. The biggest thing I learned through this is that you can't go through this alone. I called Daniel Stark. They were going to help me, and everything was going to be all right. Daniel Stark got me 10 times the insurance company offered.
The difference is Stark.
We definitely love our relationship and love Extraco. It's been an amazing experience.
They made the PPP process easier. They were reaching out to me saying, what can I do to help you? That made a huge difference, because my stress level, when we shut down, to afterwards was night and day.
Our experience with Extraco has been phenomenal since the very beginning, so we love Extraco.
It is Matt Mosley, and it's the Obstructed View podcast, Rogue Media Network. I think they're learning that there's really no wonderful view of me. See, I feel like they think this feed's going to be really wonderful.
There must have been no BS, like 20 scouts, 15 to 20 NBA scouts there to see him, and he was top 5.
When your old number wasn't working, I went through various channels to track you down. So unfortunately, you can never get away from me. But I'm happy.
Man.
I'm happy to have you today.
No, thanks for having me. And you know we always family, no matter where I'm at.
I mean, yeah, a new coach comes in, they're going to turn the roster. I think that's just we've got all these transfer portal stats and what Dion did and what Fritz has done. I mean, that's the deal, man. That's the game that's being played nowadays.
Maybe a little bit unknown at quarterback. I mean, unknown to the rest of the world, but you know, he dove into the portal and got a guy who is super, super athletic.
South Dakota State's really good. Give us a little bit of breakdown about what they can do and what Oklahoma State needs to be worried about.
But look at that form right there. I need to say nothing else about this because I found one.
The Cam Show, it's Rogue Media Sports Network, and it's the most excited I've ever been about a guest to come on here, and I'm sure he's already getting uncomfortable by me saying stuff like this. It's Jay Harang from the YouTube channel, Jay Harang.
Good
Jay,
evening.
How you doing?
I'm doing very well, thank you. Thank you for having me on. It's always a pleasure to meet new people.
Joining us from his home in Slough, which you might know from The Office, the UK version. Have you seen both of them? Do you have a preference on which?
I've seen both of them, and I when it started, so I love the original Office. It's a classic here, right? Really.
Yeah.
And then I watched the first. I was a bit hesitant about the American Office because sometimes you guys make stuff and it's just shit, right?
Yes.
And then but this time, and the first episode was awful. Like that whole what's his face, Steve Craig. It was really bad first time, and then I thought I'll give it a chance. There's a few people who gave it a chance said it was really good, so I ended up watching it, and now I have to say I don't have a preference because they're both very different. But the first couple of episodes just looked like a terrible ripoff, and that they had completely missed the point. But yeah, it's good. I like both now.
All right, seal of approval for both. Jay Harang, who you're not used to working in like good forms of media, good comedies. What you specialize in is softcore porn and stalker movies, and really attacking the worst movies ever. On your channel, it's all 10 to 15 minute reviews of these terrible movies, and as you guys know from my show, like I love that. I find much more joy in the bad movies than I even do with the good movies, which I really, really like. And Jay has the best YouTube channel there is on that, and you just recently hit 4,000 subscribers.
Yeah,
and I don't want to sound like a put down because much more subscribers than me, but I was surprised that it was that little because of how good the content that you put out is, and it's every week. Like, you've been really consistent with it. Yeah. So let's get into that first. How long have you been doing this, and what sparked the interest in this channel?
Right. So people have always said, oh, you should do a TikTok or you should do a YouTube and stuff. Because I'm one of these people that like nobody likes, that like, I've got a lot of friends.
And everything.
But I'm the sort of person that's like, oh, fucking don't invite him. He'll start going off on one and like, blah, blah, blah. But the thing is, there's always some people that are an audience for that. And as I don't have that in my normal circles, people said I do this. And I thought, well, what do I know about? And I thought, well, I have watched a lot of like those 80s soft porn films, like 11 Days, 11 Nights and Porky's and stuff like that. And there wasn't actually much around on that. So I thought I'd do that. But my true passion in life is Lifetime, the Lifetime movie network. I love Lifetime movies, not just ironically, but I love it. And I'm someone who used to go to the cinema all the time, but I don't do it anymore. It's too expensive and everything that comes out now is crap. So I would much rather just sit there with Lifetime movie network on. Like, it's the same story every time with a different job as the stalker. I don't care. I think it's brilliant.
And it's never ending too. Like,
it's
never will stop doing this. I mean, how many movies do they put out a year?
I think they put out about 3 new ones a week at least. And you think, And you think like, and they don't need special effects. I don't think I've ever seen a special effects in a lifetime apart from maybe like an explosion. That's just, I think you can buy it or you can download it for free with a green screen background. Yeah, it's they do a lot of films. I think the golden era was probably between the original Stalked by My Doctor and probably 2022.
Oh, Eric Roberts, man, he's got a strong hold on both Lifetime and the Jay Harang channel.
He's done a lot of bad films anyway. So he's definitely one of my favorites.
If you ever like needed to slow things down and you just did like the Jay Harang late night show at any point, would he be like your white whale guest of like, I need to go through his career?
Yeah, him. And if I did, I used to do a show every week, but nobody people that watched it liked it, but it doesn't get views. So I didn't bother. But
I don't know what that's like. Yeah.
Eric Roberts, Frankie Cullen. Do you know who that is? The guy in the porn films. He's in a lot of my clips.
Yes.
Yeah, him.
Yes. I literally know him from looking that up actually, but yeah.
Yeah. And a couple of the people I've slagged off in my videos have actually watched my channel and have actually have made comments. Sadly, not Eric Roberts yet. Brooke, you know the dance video at the end, the girl who dances with her friend at the bottom of the stairs?
Yes.
Yeah, she's been in my comments saying, "Oh, this is really funny." I'm like, "Oh, that's good. I like hearing that," because luckily I didn't slag her off too badly. But some of them must watch it and get so upset and just not say anything.
That's what I was gonna ask. Like, have you gotten feedback from some of the people? I know the comment section can be kind of ruthless, which is funny because this is not meant to be taken so seriously, but that's like the world we're living in.
Yeah.
Do you get feedback from some of the people that were actually in the movies or a part of these productions?
Nothing like negative. So I've had one of the I think Stalked by My Stepsister. The guy came on right something like LOL. I directed this one, and I checked it, and he has. And the other one I've had is that I don't know if you've seen my video on Killer Grades. It was someone who got knocked out and put in the back of the boot. He said they still haven't let me out of the boot, and I thought, who's that? And I checked it, and it was him. I get generally positive stuff from those people, but I get the impression that those are the people with a sense of humor. For example, some of the extras that I absolutely slate about their appearance, I can't imagine they'd be too happy about it. They probably wouldn't write in the comments, "I don't like this," unless because they'd think everyone would pile in on them, and I would try and do that. But nothing negative from those people.
Was the Killer Grades one? Is that the decathlon, like the academic?
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah,
I watched that one.
So if you remember, I think it's Sarah Connor's dad gets killed by the person.
Which is funny because it gets revealed, right? It's like, oh, his name is Eric Connor or something.
Yeah.
We already knew her name was Sarah.
Yeah, that's it.
That must have been an unbelievable revelation.
Yeah, that was when I saw that. I thought this is a gem. Yes, there's stuff like that comes out, and you just think yes. That sometimes you see an extra and you think, or one scene, you think this is so good. I can turn this whole video about this film into about this bloke, even though he's been in there for like 10 seconds.
Okay, well, I was going to save this question, but this is a great segue to it because you've such a great attention to detail when it comes to things, which is the best part about shitty movies, is really paying attention to it. And there was one I was watching yesterday, stalked by my my partner's ex, I guess is how they put it.
Oh,
and you think it's one ex for like a good bit of the movie, and it ends up being the other ex. And there's a point, and I don't want to get too into the details about the video. You should watch the video, but they're showing around this Asian prospective buyers or something. Someone going to use the event space, and you're like, pay attention, remember them. They have no tie to this plot yet, but remember them. And then at the end of the movie, they're getting married. There's like 12 people in the wedding, and 2 of them are these people.
Yeah, I was when I noticed that, I thought this is gold. Like, why would they be there? Like, so what's obviously happened there is they've thought, oh, who can we get to be weddings guests? Oh, fuck it, those two. They were in it at the start.
They're still here. Yeah,
no one's going to notice. They're just Asian people. Do you know? I mean, that's probably what they thought. It's disgraceful, but that's probably what they thought. But if you think my attention to detail is good, there's a guy called Lifetime Movie Mockeries who I speak to sometimes. He's pretty much stopped doing his channel now. That guy's attention to detail is incredible, right? So when they're on the computer or on their phone, he zooms in on it and looks at what they're typing and like the newspaper articles, and it's brilliant. It's all total nonsense. He's so good at that. I'll send you the link to him later. It's sad that he's finished.
And then we'll have both you guys on. But
I think he's stopped now, which is sad. So
we might need to rev up that engine again. Get
Damn
him.
right.
The world needs more of this. Maybe he's been intimidated by how much your channel's grown recently.
No, because I was gonna work with him. Like I was saying, like, do you want to come on? I think what's happened is he just got frustrated. He probably has a full-time job. Well, I mean, I've got a full-time job now, but I didn't. And then he and he probably thought, I've done this for so long and it's just not picking up.
So let me ask you this. Obviously your videos are very critical in a funny way. You mentioned it before, like some of these things you didn't have anyone to like talk to about it, and there wasn't an audience for it, but there is on YouTube.
Yeah.
Are you just like amongst your friends and people in your community, like, are you just like kind of a ranting douche that everyone was like, you need to do this in front of a microphone?
100%. That's what happened. Yeah. That's exactly what happened. Like,
just like proper dickhead, as they would call you.
It's not a proper dickhead. That's right. Yeah, it's like not really. I mean, like, I'm not somebody that's avoided. But as I say, if you're having a serious dinner party with people from work, you just don't want the guy who's going to start. Well, I'm not going to mention the sort of things I would rant about because I believe that they get shut down even now, so long after 2019. But like, it is. I would rant about things, and people would just, it's funny for a bit, and some people think it's funny, but other people are like, oh, back off. Just have a day off, mate. Do you know what I mean?
Hell
like,
yeah.
Yeah.
Did you ever try like stand-up comedy or more of like the traditional route of things?
No, I'm incredibly self-conscious, so I would not do that. No way. I can't imagine. I used to be in a band. I used to be the singer, and I can't imagine doing that now. No way.
What kind of band?
I was like, embarrassing 90s Britpop it was.
Oh, damn.
But I do. Yeah, we did a bit of that as well. And then I started making. Do you hear the music at the end of my channel and the start? That's all mine.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. So there is benefits of being a failed musician and a failed YouTuber at the same time. You get to double up. So
and at least you don't get your shit flagged all the time. So
no, I don't. Yeah, that's a problem. I mean, you don't get that at all with the flagging. It is a problem. Like my clips of the music, which I'd love to use more, like "Take My Breath Away" and more "Shot Through the Heart." But what's it called? What's that song called? Shot Through. You Give Love a Bad Name. But unfortunately, I can't. Like, it has to be capped at 7 seconds.
Which, I mean, always used perfectly because Lifetime loves asthma. So the Take My Breath Away comes up a lot.
Has to be all the time.
Like, I am a massive Britpop fan, which is weird to say as someone that was born really before it, or excuse me, after it.
Yeah.
And being in the US, humongous Oasis fan, big time.
Right, okay.
Fan, which Britpop, by its very definition, is it Britpop? I don't know. We don't need to get into that.
It is. They're the epitome of Britpop. 100%. Yeah.
Because I'm thinking Blur is the epitome of it.
Okay, yeah, fine. The actual sound, I suppose that's right.
Yeah.
But like, there's different elements of it. There's
like Oasis is the best to do it ever.
Well, the Oasis was basically a copy of the Charlatans, and then obviously everyone started copying Oasis. The Stone Roses maybe started it, but like, do you know the Stone Roses?
Yeah, fucking
yeah. Their first album and a couple songs off the second album were brilliant.
Less than a handful, I'd say. I have the first album on vinyl because I'm a douchebag as well.
Oh, okay. People with vinyl now are cunts.
Oh, so, I am a right cunt.
Right. Okay. Fine. We're allowed to say that.
Yeah. I mean, Mike might not be too happy, but who gives a shit?
Right.
So I do want to get into the process because, look, I've tried doing kind of the YouTube video essay, I guess, is essentially still the same thing.
Yeah.
I've tried doing that. That is a lot of work. And you have to watch a movie and then analyze that and then do all of that with all the clips you put in there and the cuts, which are brilliant. So how much is this process? How many times you watching the movie? How long does it take to make the video from first watch to video getting posted on YouTube? How long is that process?
I think it's probably about 12 hours. And I'll tell you for a 10-minute video. Yeah, it's quite bad. So if you include watching the film. So the first thing I'll do, let's just say, so at the moment, let's say the last one. What did I do last time? When Mom Becomes a Murderer. So I will watch the film. That's an hour and a half. Then I will watch the film again in my video editor and write a script at the same time. So that's watching the film again, plus an hour or maybe an hour and a half to cut the little clips out that I need. And then that's done. Then I've got the script. Then I read the script out and record it on my digital audio workstation. Then after I've done that, I export it. I put it in my video editor. I cut out all the breathy bits and all the rubbish bits. Then I go through again, and as I'm reading the script, I chop the bits of the original film into the audio. Then I export that. Then I go in and add all the clips that I've got in a bank. So I have a bank of clips. They're all from, most of them are from films I've done before. So most of them have got a lot of Frankie Cullen in, and a lot of those like soft porn actors, and a lot of Eric Roberts and stuff. And I cut those in. Altogether, yeah, I'd say it's 12 hours. But I've cut that. I say it takes me 8 because I'll probably watch the film anyway. Do you know what I mean? So
Sure. Yeah. Okay.
And it is. I am getting quicker at it.
Quick. For that quality, like that really is. I don't want to keep sounding like I'm blowing you here.
No, that's good. That's keep blowing.
I mean,
right.
It's certainly you don't see Cam blowing Jay Harang, but it is certainly
love that.
Come on,
Yeah,
then. Have you ever gotten metaphorically blown by your own line from a YouTube video?
No, that's the first. Oh no, a lot of people do repeat it back to me sometimes, like when I'm on stage. But that was a good one because you've taken it and you've slightly moved it to what's going to mean something else. So very good. What was I going to say about that? About the process. It's it's getting a bit quicker, but but every time I do it, there's more clips, and if there's music and stuff like that, then that becomes more difficult.
Yeah, which, I mean, there's so many. Do you have like a folder of like 40 cuts that you use from like Murder, She Wrote?
About 100, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. 100 in there. And there's about 20 watts. So people saying what, because that has to be the right one, because they're all saying different things. Are you serious? You know, obviously, that sort of thing.
Dude, I meant to send this to you before. I've got to send it to you, but I was watching one like late at night, like winding down in my bed. And I sent the video to my girlfriend of recording. I'm trying to remember which one it was, but the woman in the movie is such a bitch, and like it's like built up to that for a couple of minutes about how much she's a bitch, and she thinks the guy's having an affair.
Yeah,
the adoption agency, and you use the cut from Wedding Crashers where Will Ferrell's like, "Good."
Yeah.
And
I use that.
Stop it. I'm just like, it's me on the video just dying laughing of like, this is the perfect cut for this. Like, good. She should be getting cheated on.
Yeah, damn right. I remember, is that, I can't remember. Was that like Deadly Yoga Instructor or something? I think it was. No, Deadly Pilates Instructor.
Lethal something.
Yeah, probably Lethal. I can't remember which one.
It's one be lethal. Yeah.
It is the adoption. He's her either a yoga instructor or, yeah, it's something like that. Deadly Pilates coach, whatever. It is that one. Because I remember thinking, the woman was unbearable. And so when I found out he was cheating, I was just like, get in. Do it again.
Come on, then. Yeah, like I am, a 20-something. So for me to actually call someone a bitch these days, you got to be a bitch. You got to really be a bitch. And that woman was a bitch.
Yeah.
I'm someone who's gotten more cynical as I've gotten older. And so that's why I've leaned into the bad movies the last couple of years. And for an example, like I used to love the TV show Friends, and now like I can't stand it. Like I'm just like, why did I ever think this was that funny? And this is a different debate. Jay. I can see it going.
Yeah.
But I wonder if you feel that way about any movies, specifically Lifetime movies. You say you like them unironically, but was there a time in your life where you're like, I still love them, but actually these are really shit?
Oh no! Hold on. I know they're shit. I know.
Yeah, I
know. Technically they're shit, but no. I because there's so many of them, as you said. I quite like watching them. I'm trying to think things I liked when I was young. Well, when I was younger, I used to like Nirvana. Right? If I listen to it now, it's terrible. And I think it's not really. There's no debate in that. Like, if you say I prefer the Foo Fighters to Nirvana, like people my age start fucking shitting themselves. It's a joke. But like, it's like, and again, a lot of the Britpop stuff actually, if you listen back, is not good. Like it hasn't aged like the 80s stuff has. Films, I can't actually think.
You don't think Pulp really holds up the same?
No, I don't. I like Hawk the Slayer, as I mentioned. Like I did Hawk the Slayer video, right?
Yeah.
Now that when I was a kid, it was amazing. I'll tell you another one. Here's a classic example: Big Trouble in Little China. When I watched it as a kid, I absolutely loved it because to me it was taking place in some magical world and it was all woo. But when I watched it like a bit later, I was like, hang on, this is just in a warehouse. Like this is rubbish. I mean, it's still quite good. I still enjoy the film, but it's not what it was. Hawk the Slayer, I'll tell you, like the Dungeons and Dragons community properly went for me, like in those comments. they were like, "Oh, did you know that this is closer? This is a closer representation of Dungeons and Dragons campaigns than Lord of the Rings." I was like, I don't give a fuck. So I don't care about,
give a shit.
why would I care about Dungeons and Dragons? Like, I've touched a fucking woman's breast. I don't need to play fucking Dungeons and Dragons. Do you know what I mean? Like, what is that about? It is fucking ludicrous. And they're all in there. They're all teaming up against me, and they're all like, fucking hell, seriously.
Oh, so great. It's so great. I'm going to ask you the laziest question of this.
Go on.
Because I'm genuinely interested, but I know there's probably not one singular answer.
Yeah.
What is your favorite movie that you've covered?
The favorite movie that I've covered, I'm not sure, but my favorite review is 100% Christmas on My Mind, right? So
I haven't seen this one yet. This is big.
Okay, right. So that one, there's somewhere about 3/4 of the way through it, I just cannot finish reading the script, like at all. Like I can't finish reading the script because it's so ridiculous what I've actually written down about the film. It is unbelievable. Yeah, I mean, I'd recommend that definitely. Christmas on My Mind. In fact, that one and the Christmas one afterwards. It's just, I can't. Christmas for me is like Christmas films. Hallmark Christmas films are even funnier than the Lifetime Stalker films.
And you're about to like load up on those coming up.
Not Hallmark. So what I'm coming up with is that I'm definitely doing a Christmas Prince trilogy. That's right. That's the one. That's a Netflix one, but it's one where there is 3 of them. There's Christmas Prince, the Royal Wedding, and Christmas Prince, a Royal Baby, right? And obviously, it's one of these where she's a city woman in America, and then she finds out that she has to go to some fictional European country that doesn't exist, where everyone speaks English, and then she falls in love with the prince. Who, oh, that's good, isn't it? Yeah, and everyone's really happy, and the mum hates her because she's like, oh, what is the meaning of this? And she's not a traditional Odotrovian princess. You know what I mean? It's just it's ludicrous. But I love it. There's 2 scripts. There's 2 scripts in Hallmark Christmas films. One of them is that, and the other one is big city executive woman goes back to her hometown even though she doesn't want to, and meets like the handyman, decides that she loves him because he appreciates Christmas, yet her big business boyfriend who only cares about his clients doesn't. You know what I mean? Like, it's just,
this is like 80% of the movies, right?
It is. Yeah. It's in those 2 categories. That's it. That's all you get. That's all you get.
Have you ever thought about doing like a big time, like a Love Actually or something around Christmas time? I bet you could really pick that one apart.
I'm actually quite like that one.
I do too.
And the reason I wouldn't do it is because the separate stories wouldn't work for my format. So it's like separate stories. But otherwise, I'd tear Pulp Fiction to pieces because I don't like that at all, and everyone loves it. I'd get loads of abuse for that. And that's why I do this.
That would be a death wish, Jay.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, that'd be more than Dungeons and Dragons community, wouldn't it?
For sure.
Yeah.
I don't want to get into too many specifics, and we do have to kind of wind this thing down here. But the one I won't tell you which of the videos like really, really got me into your channel, but I will just ask you this question.
Yeah.
If you ever like travel back to America, what are your thoughts on visiting Panama City Beach, Florida?
I go to Florida. I used to go to Florida quite regularly.
Did you go to Panama?
I did not. No. We go to Cape Coral. This place where the tornado ripped through.
Yeah.
But I mean, I would go to Panama City, Florida, if when I got off the plane, everyone was going to dance for me on the street.
And you were going to drive a golf cart.
I want a mime carrying my bags. 100%. Yeah. And I just want to dance. Maybe I'll get a part-time job, and instead of working, I'll just dance.
Oh.
That is probably the funniest film I've watched. That is so good. That is such a terrible film.
Oh, it's so awesome.
It is brilliant. Yeah, I love it.
Nobody is likable in that film whatsoever. I just that was like the perfect gateway drug to get more Jay Harang, because it was like none of it made sense. Not a single part of it. The dancing everywhere. The dad is a fighter, but also this businessman who owns the hotel, and he's got a big company meeting at 7:00 on a Saturday night.
Yeah, that's it.
Shareholders meting. The parents are just back together at the end.
He doesn't turn up to the meeting in the end anyway. Can't bother with that shareholders meeting. He just lets them down.
I got to see my daughter.
Also, what are they shareholders in? His fighting or his hotel? Why is there a shareholder meeting for the hotel? I don't know. It doesn't make any sense.
He's just shitting on the bus boy. He's like, no, what you need to be with is a bellboy. Like,
Yeah, that's right.
that does the same bullshit dancing. Like,
yeah, he's senior at the hotel, so you need to be with him instead. No, that one's absolutely brilliant. I'll tell you what I found. I didn't know that film existed, but there's another channel with 3 English guys, I think maybe my age or maybe older, called Bad Time Babble, and they covered it. They do some good stuff. It's longer form. It's a bit like Red Letter Media without that guy with the annoying laugh. It's like they're good. They're good. They're good guys. I'll put a link to them or whatever. But they've got they do some funny stuff. They're very dry sense of humor. Again, British humor. That's how I found out about them. And I recently saw them doing this one called about this woman who falls in love with a dog that turns into a man. I'm thinking I've got to do that at some point. That looks another gem.
Jay, we've got to do this again.
100%.
And maybe we'll get to some bare bones on some movies. I don't want to steal what's going on your channel, but it is Jay Harang. We'll have a link down in the description below. But Jay, thanks so much for your time, and please keep doing this. Please don't end your channel. Then I don't know what I will do. It's all about, if I don't want to watch a shitty movie, getting high and watching 4 or 5 of these. So please keep going.
That's it. Keep watching. Keep liking.
You are here with your shoot first point guard, Corey Dickman.
Also, if you're not creating new fans in a small market, then you're not creating that base of people to go to games and pay for merchandise and pay for stuff and concessions at the Moda Center and yada yada.
Yeah, let's talk draft. That's the only thing we have to look forward to. The only thing we have to look forward to. That's what I will teach my son. You will teach your daughter as Blazers fans. It's like, look, the 2 most exciting times of the year for us are the draft lottery and the draft itself. Like, here we are. This is our thing. Give me some memories and thoughts. I know you had mentioned kind of the first time you had met Bill. What were some of those first memories that came back when you heard the news?
Coming up on the Pete Souza Show, Rogue Media and ESPN's own King McClure talks to us about the NBA draft.
The team is banged up.
Undressed while we're doing this?
No.
What is happening?
And it's partially because the team has like pretty kind
Wrong
of big
podcast, Nick. Wrong podcast. When you're a golfer, what is the point of no return? He was the best play-by-play announcer around, in my opinion, and he made me want to continue to watch.
We definitely love our relationship and love Extraco. It's been an amazing experience.
They made the PPP process easier. They were reaching out to me saying, what can I do to help you? That made a huge difference because my stress level, when we shut down, to afterwards was night and day.
Our experience with Extraco has been phenomenal since the very beginning, so we love Extraco.
Nobody tells our stories better than our clients.
The difference is stark. I was rear-ended at a stop. I thought I was fine, and then once I got home, I realized it's a lot worse than I thought. I ended up having a ruptured disc. You say you're not hurting, and then an hour later, you're saying you're in all this pain. I just felt like most people would think that I was lying. That's when I decided to call Daniel Stark. I owe a lot to Daniel Stark. They really got me what I deserved.
The difference is stark.
We are Rogue Media Sports.